My dear child, pause for a moment and listen carefully, because something unusual is happening right now. You did not arrive at this message by accident, and you did not stop here by coincidence. Out of the thousands of moments passing through your day, something gently interrupted your path and drew your attention here. That quiet pull you felt in your heart was not random. It was not a mistake of timing. It was a moment I prepared long before you even realized you would need these words. I know the thoughts that have been passing through your mind lately. I know the quiet questions you have carried in the corners of your spirit, the ones you have not spoken aloud to anyone. And before you wonder how this message found you today, understand something deeper. I knew you would see this. Before you were aware of this moment, before the day even began, I already saw the exact second your eyes would stop here. I saw the curiosity in your heart, the heaviness you have been carrying, and the quiet hope you have been trying not to lose. Many around you may believe life moves randomly, but you know in your spirit that there are moments that feel different. Moments that feel guided, as if something unseen gently rearranged events so that truth could reach you at the exact time you needed it. This is one of those moments, my beloved, and that is why your heart paused instead of scrolling away. There are things happening in your life right now that you do not fully understand. Situations that feel delayed, doors that seemed close but did not open, people whose actions left you confused, wondering what their true intentions were. But listen closely, because what seemed like delay was never abandonment. What looked like silence was never absence. There are movements happening behind the scenes that your eyes cannot yet see. And the reason this message found you today is because you are entering a moment where clarity will begin to rise like light at dawn. My child, you have questioned whether you are truly seen, whether your efforts, your patience, and your quiet endurance have meaning. But I tell you this now with calm certainty, nothing about your journey has gone unnoticed. Every prayer whispered in exhaustion, every moment you chose kindness when bitterness would have been easier, every time you held on when giving up felt closer, I saw it all. I knew the exact season when you would feel tired, and I also prepared the moment when strength would return. Something is shifting around you even now, though you may not yet see the evidence with your physical eyes. Timing that once felt stuck is beginning to move again. Conversations you thought would never happen are being aligned. Truths that were hidden are slowly finding their way into the open. And when those truths appear, they will not arrive with confusion, but with a quiet clarity that settles deep within your spirit. When that moment comes, you will understand why certain doors stayed closed, and why certain people could not remain beside you on the path ahead. If your heart feels the weight of these words, type Amen if you receive this message. My beloved, there is something important you must understand about this season of your life. Not everything that left your life was a loss. Some departures were protection disguised as disappointment. Some delays were preparation disguised as waiting. And some silence was simply the quiet moment before a revelation you were not yet ready to carry. Many people become discouraged in these spaces, but you remained here, still listening, still hoping, still searching for truth. That perseverance is not invisible to heaven. You may not realize it yet, but you have been moving through a period of spiritual alignment. Certain relationships had to shift. Certain illusions had to fall away. Certain truths had to surface slowly so that when you finally saw them, you would see them clearly. And now, Little by little, the pieces are beginning to move again. The things that once felt scattered are slowly forming a path. If you trust that timing is unfolding even when you cannot see it, write 1111 in the comments. There is also something else you must hear today. My child, the confusion that surrounded certain situations in your life was never meant to remain forever. Hidden intentions cannot stay hidden forever. Truth has a way of rising to the surface. Sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly, but always at the moment when your spirit is strong enough to receive it without breaking. When that clarity arrives, you will not need anyone to explain it to you. Something inside your heart will simply recognize the truth. And when that recognition comes, you will feel something unexpected peace. Not because everything becomes perfect overnight, but because the questions that once kept you awake will finally have answers. Comment yes if your heart feels this truth. Stay with these words for a moment longer, because what I am revealing to you is still unfolding. There are pieces of your story that have not yet been placed into position, but the movement has already begun. Just as the sky slowly brightens before the sun becomes visible, your life is moving toward a moment where things will begin to make sense in ways they never did before. My beloved, there are blessings that seem delayed, but delay does not mean denial. Timing is often shaped not only by your readiness, but by the alignment of circumstances around you. Sometimes I must move people, shift opportunities, and rearrange events in ways that you cannot yet see. And when the moment is finally right, what arrives will feel less like luck and more like destiny. Type 777 if you believe something is shifting for you. Dear family, before we continue, I want to share something important. Recently our channel was demonetized by YouTube, which means we no longer receive earnings from these videos. Yet every message here takes many hours of prayer, writing, recording, and editing. Our mission is to bring hope and encouragement to those who feel lost, lonely, or overwhelmed. Without support, it becomes very difficult for us to keep creating these messages and continue running this channel. If these messages have ever helped or inspired you, you can support this mission through the links in the description or the pinned comment. Buy me a coffee. Even a small contribution helps us continue creating these messages and reaching people who need them the most. Thank you for your love, support, and prayers. God bless you. Now take a breath and return to the message, my child, because the moment you are standing in is not ordinary. Something within you has already sensed it, even if you cannot fully explain why. Have you noticed how certain thoughts have begun appearing in your mind lately? Ideas about change, about direction, about stepping into something different than the path you once imagined. Those thoughts are not random. They are signals that your spirit is awakening to a new stage of your journey. The path ahead of you will not look exactly like the path behind you. Some things will remain familiar, but other things will transform in ways that surprise you. And when those changes begin, you may remember this very moment and realize that the seeds of that transformation were already being planted inside your heart. My beloved, I knew you would see this message because you are standing at a crossroads of awareness. Not a crossroads of fear, but a crossroads of clarity. What once confused you is beginning to lose its power. What once distracted you is beginning to feel less important. And what truly matters is becoming more visible to your spirit. Declare, I receive, in the comments if you feel ready for what is coming next. There are people who underestimated the strength inside you. There were moments when even you underestimated it. But resilience has been growing inside your spirit quietly, like roots beneath the soil. Roots that cannot be seen until the day the tree finally rises above the ground. That day is closer than you think. Remain present with these words. Let them settle into your thoughts slowly. Because this message is not only something you hear once and forget. It is something you may return to again and again, discovering new meaning each time you listen. And remember this above all else. My child, you were never wandering without direction. Even when the road looked uncertain, you were still being guided step by step. I knew the questions you would face, the doubts you would carry, and the strength you would need. That is why this moment exists now, right here, right when you needed to hear it. If your spirit feels peace while listening, type Amen and stay connected to this message. Because the story unfolding in your life is not finished yet. In fact, something important is only just beginning. And when the next chapter reveals itself, you will look back at this moment and understand the quiet truth that has been waiting for you. All along I knew you would see this. And as that understanding begins to settle inside your spirit, my child, you will slowly realize that this moment is not only about reassurance. It is also about preparation. Because there are things approaching your life that will require a clearer mind, a steadier heart, and a deeper trust than you have ever carried before. The quiet stirring you have been feeling lately is not imagination. It is the gentle movement of alignment taking place around you. Pieces that once seemed disconnected are being placed into position, and even though you cannot yet see the full picture, the design is already unfolding. My beloved, there were seasons when you believed you were walking alone, when it felt as though your prayers were drifting into silence, and your efforts were unnoticed. Yet those seasons were never empty. They were the hidden chapters where strength was being formed inside you. Just as a seed grows, unseen beneath the soil, before it ever touches the sunlight, your spirit has been developing resilience that cannot be shaken easily. You may have wondered why certain situations stretched longer than expected, why answers seemed delayed, and why clarity arrived slowly rather than all at once. But the truth is that some revelations must unfold gently, so they do not overwhelm the heart that receives them. Listen carefully now, because something important is beginning to surface. There were people whose intentions around you were never as clear as they appeared. Words may have sounded supportive, and smiles may have seemed genuine. Yet beneath the surface there were hidden motives that could not remain concealed forever. Truth always finds a way to reveal itself, and when it does not come with chaos, but with unmistakable understanding. When that moment arrives in your life, you will feel a quiet certainty within your spirit that guides you toward peace rather than confusion. If these words resonate with something deep inside you, type Amen if you receive this message. My child, there are also blessings that have been quietly waiting for the right moment to enter your life. They have not been withheld out of neglect, but protected until the timing was prepared. You see only the present moment, but timing is woven through many moving parts that you cannot yet see. Opportunities must align, hearts must shift, circumstances must open pathways that did not exist before. And when those pathways finally appear, you will recognize that once felt delayed was actually being positioned with care. Remain still for a moment and let this settle into your spirit. The heaviness that has followed you recently is not meant to stay forever. It was a passing season, one that carried lessons, awareness, and growth. But seasons do not last endlessly. Just as night slowly gives way to dawn, the atmosphere around your life is beginning to change in subtle ways. Small signs will begin to appear. A conversation that brings unexpected clarity. An idea that suddenly feels possible again. A moment of peace that arrives without explanation. Comment yes if your heart feels this truth. There is a reason you were guided to hear these words today. Something within your spirit needed confirmation that the path ahead has not been lost. Even when circumstances made you question the direction of your life, the greater design was never abandoned. Guidance does not always come through loud announcements. Sometimes it arrives through quiet reminders that awaken a deeper awareness inside you. My beloved, you are entering a period where understanding will begin to replace uncertainty. Certain questions that once lingered in your mind will start to dissolve as answers appear naturally through experience. The situations that once caused confusion will become lessons that strengthen your discernment. And in that clarity, you will find a new kind of peace that does not depend on everything around you being perfect. Write 11 if you trust God's timing. Stay with these words for a little longer, because something deeper is still being revealed. You have been standing at the edge of transformation without fully realizing it. The thoughts that have been surfacing in your mind recently, about change, about purpose, about stepping into something unfamiliar, are signals that your spirit is awakening to a new level of awareness. This awakening may feel subtle at first, but it carries the potential to reshape how you see your life and your future. There will come a moment when you look back at the challenges you faced and recognize that they were shaping your perception rather than defeating your progress. What once looked like obstacles were actually shaping your ability to recognize truth more quickly and to choose paths that lead toward peace instead of confusion. If you feel a quiet shift happening in your life right now, type 7077 if you believe something is shifting for you. My child, you are not being rushed into the future. The unfolding of your journey happens step by step, and each moment carries meaning, even when it seems ordinary. The days that feel simple are often the days when the most important growth takes place quietly within your spirit. Do not underestimate those quiet moments. They are the spaces where strength gathers and clarity forms. You may also begin to notice something else happening soon. Situations that once drained your energy will start to lose their hold over you. Conversations that once stirred frustration will no longer carry the same power. This is not because those situations disappear immediately, but because your awareness begins to rise above them. When understanding grows, the things that once disturbed your peace no longer control your thoughts. Declare, I receive. In the comments if you feel ready for the clarity that is approaching. My beloved, there is also encouragement waiting for you in the path ahead. The strength you have been building quietly will soon reveal itself through the choices you make and the calm confidence you carry. Others may notice the change in your presence before you even recognize it yourself. They will see someone who moves with a deeper sense of purpose, someone who no longer feels shaken by every uncertainty. And when those around you begin to recognize that calm strength, some will be drawn toward it, while others may feel unsettled by it. Do not let that trouble your spirit. A growth often creates new distances between people whose paths are moving in different directions. But those distances are not always losses. Sometimes they are simply adjustments that allow each person to continue their journey where they truly belong. My child, stay attentive to the quiet guidance within your heart in the coming days. That inner awareness will help you recognize which paths lead toward peace and which ones lead toward unnecessary struggle. The wisdom you seek will not arrive through confusion, but through calm recognition. Type Amen if you receive this message. There are moments ahead where you will realize that certain fears you once carried were never meant to follow you forever. Those fears were shadows created by uncertainty, and as understanding grows, those shadows begin to fade. Courage is not the absence of concern, but the willingness to move forward even while answers are still forming. My beloved, continue listening closely. The revelation unfolding around your life is not finished. New doors of understanding will appear, and with them will come opportunities that once felt distant. These opportunities will not always arrive with loud announcements. Sometimes they will appear quietly, disguised as simple decisions that carry unexpected potential. Stay present with these words and allow them to settle gently into your thoughts. Because the truth being revealed here is not something that fades after a single moment. It is a reminder that will continue unfolding as your journey moves forward. And as the path continues to reveal itself, you will begin to see with clearer eyes what was always true. You were never walking without guidance, never moving without purpose, and never unseen. My beloved, continue forward with a calm heart. The timing that surrounds your life is still unfolding, and the story ahead carries more hope than you can currently imagine.